Too many men over 60 are lying awake right now next to the woman they love, wanting her, needing her, and doing absolutely nothing. Not because the desire is gone, but because the last time they tried, their body refused to cooperate. And they would rather lie there in silence than face that moment again. If that is you, I need you to hear this right now. That silence, that stillness, that terrifying moment when everything in your mind says yes and your body says nothing. That is not who you are. That is not aging. That is your testosterone being eaten alive by what is missing from your daily diet. And the men who have fixed this, men in their 60s, 70s, even their 80s, did it not with pills, not with injections, but with 3 specific foods that most men walk past in the grocery store every single week without knowing what they are leaving on the shelf. My name is Dr. Mei Anderson. I am a urologist with over 20 years specializing exclusively in senior men's sexual health. And in this video I am going to show you exactly which 3 foods skyrocket testosterone levels, restore blood flow to your penis, and produce the kind of firm, full, lasting erection that makes you feel like yourself again. Sometimes within 48 hours of your first serving. But more importantly, I am going to show you why these 3 foods work together as a combination that is more powerful than any single ingredient alone. Because the synergy between them is what most men, and most doctors, completely miss. Stay with me, because what I am about to share in the next few minutes has already changed the lives of hundreds of men who sat across from me in my clinic convinced they were done. They were not done. And neither are you. Before we go further, if this already sounds like what you have been searching for, type yes in the comments right now. It tells me you are ready to fight for your strength again. And make sure you subscribe and hit the bell, so you never miss another breakthrough I create specifically for men like you. Now, let us get into the 3 foods. And I am going to start with the one that shocks men the most, because you have been told for decades that it is bad for you. Beef liver. Specifically from grass-fed cattle. And I know what you are thinking right now. I see that same face every time I say it in my clinic. Men laugh. They say, "Doctor, my wife will never allow that near the kitchen." And then I show them what is happening inside their body, and they stop laughing. Beef liver is the single most testosterone-supportive food that exists in nature. Not the most popular food. Not the most comfortable food. The most effective food. And the reason most men over 60 are deficient in the exact compounds that produce testosterone is because somewhere in the last 40 years, liver disappeared from the Western diet entirely, and testosterone went with it. Here is what is happening inside your body right now if you have not eaten liver in years. Testosterone production depends on a precise chain of chemical events inside your testes. Your Leydig cells, the cells directly responsible for manufacturing testosterone, need zinc to initiate that process. They need vitamin A in its active form, called retinol, to regulate how much testosterone those cells produce. They need copper to activate the enzymes that assemble the testosterone molecule. And they need glycine, an amino acid, to protect the testosterone that has been built from being broken down and destroyed before it ever reaches your bloodstream. Beef liver contains all 4, in concentrations that no other single food on earth can match. Let me tell you what zinc deficiency alone does to a man over 60. When zinc drops even slightly below optimal, not critically low, just slightly below optimal, your testes reduce testosterone output by up to 74%. Not 7%. 74%. That is a near total shutdown of your body's ability to produce the hormone that governs your sex drive, your erection strength, your morning hardness, your stamina, and the energy that makes you feel like a man when you walk into a room. And here is the part that most men never hear. The average man over 60 eating a standard modern diet is already zinc deficient. Not because he is not trying, but because the foods that were once the primary source of zinc, liver, kidney, shellfish, organ meats, have been systematically replaced by processed grains, cereals, and packaged foods that contain almost no bioavailable zinc whatsoever. This means millions of men are walking around with erections that are 30, 40, 50% of what they should be. Not because their body cannot produce testosterone, but because the raw material to build that testosterone has been quietly missing for years. The factory is intact. The workers are ready. The building just has no raw materials coming through the door. Now here is where liver gets even more powerful. It contains retinol, the active preformed version of vitamin A, which directly stimulates your Leydig cells to increase testosterone output above your current baseline. Studies have shown that adequate retinol levels can increase Leydig cell testosterone production by up to 40%. Not over years, over weeks. I had a patient, Raymond, 68 years old, retired postal worker. Raymond came to me after 2 years of what he described as a dead battery. His words: he still had desire. He still wanted intimacy with his wife of 38 years. But his body produced almost nothing in response. No morning erections or reliable hardness. No confidence. He had started sleeping on his side of the bed and staying up late just to avoid the moment when she might reach for him. I looked at his diet. Almost zero liver. Zero shellfish. Minimal red meat. His zinc was at the low end of normal. Not flagged by his previous doctor. Not treated, just quietly dragging his testosterone into the ground year after year. I told Raymond to eat 4 ounces of beef liver twice per week. Just that. Nothing else changed in week 1. 3 weeks later Raymond called my office. He said, "Doctor, I do not know what happened, but I woke up last Tuesday and my wife noticed before I did. That is zinc. That is retinol. That is your body finally receiving what it has been starving for. 2 to 4 ounces. Twice per week is all it takes. Pan-seared in butter with onion and garlic, medium, slightly pink inside. Do not overcook it. Overcooking destroys the retinol and denatures the zinc-binding proteins. And if the taste is something you genuinely cannot manage, blend 1 ounce of desiccated liver powder into a smoothie with berries and raw honey. The taste disappears completely. The benefit does not. Now here is something most men in this situation never think about. And it directly affects how powerfully the liver works inside your body. The size of your erection. The fullness of it. The thickness. The pressure behind it. These are not random outcomes. They are determined by how much blood your penile chambers can hold under pressure. And that capacity, that physical size and firmness, is directly connected to how healthy and elastic the smooth muscle tissue inside your penis actually is. Smooth muscle tissue that depends on zinc and copper, both found in high concentrations in beef liver, to maintain its structural integrity and its ability to expand fully when blood flow arrives. Many men over 60 notice that even when they do achieve an erection, it feels smaller than it used to. Less full, less firm, less like it did at 40. This is not imagination. This is smooth muscle atrophy caused by years of inadequate zinc, inadequate blood flow, and inadequate nitric oxide. The chambers that should be filling completely are no longer doing so because the tissue has partially lost its elasticity. Beef liver, eaten consistently over 6 to 8 weeks, begins to restore that tissue integrity. Men describe the return not just of hardness, but of fullness, of feeling completely themselves again rather than a diminished version. Now, liver is powerful alone. But there is a second food that when combined with liver creates a synergistic effect on testosterone that neither food produces independently. And that food is something you probably eat several times a week and never knew it was either working for you or against you, depending on how you have been preparing it. Whole eggs, specifically the yolk. And if you have been throwing away the yolk for 30 years because someone told you it would clog your arteries, I need you to understand what you have actually been discarding every single morning. Testosterone is a steroid hormone, and steroid hormones are built from cholesterol, not from protein, not from carbohydrates, from cholesterol, specifically from LDL cholesterol. The very cholesterol that has been demonized for decades, which is the primary precursor molecule your Leydig cells use to manufacture testosterone. Without cholesterol, your testes cannot build testosterone. It is biologically impossible. Every man who has been eating a low-cholesterol diet in fear of heart disease has also been starving his testosterone production at the molecular level. The raw material simply was not there. The factory was running but the supply chain was cut. Egg yolks provide the most bioavailable form of dietary cholesterol your body can use for testosterone synthesis. They also provide vitamin D3, another critical testosterone precursor, that most men over 60 are severely deficient in. And they provide selenium, a mineral that does something critically important that most men in this situation have never been told about. After 60, your body's aromatase activity increases. Aromatase is an enzyme that intercepts free testosterone in your bloodstream and converts it directly into estrogen. This means that even if your Leydig cells are producing reasonable testosterone, that testosterone is being hijacked and converted into the wrong hormone before it ever reaches the receptors in your penis, your brain, and your muscle tissue. The result is what so many men in my clinic describe: soft erections despite desire, low libido that comes and goes unpredictably, that frustrating gap between wanting intimacy and your body actually responding to it, sometimes tenderness in the chest, emotional flatness, loss of that masculine drive that used to feel natural and automatic. All of it, testosterone present but being converted away before it can do anything useful. Selenium in egg yolks directly inhibits aromatase activity, meaning more of the testosterone your body produces actually reaches the tissues that need it. More gets through. More arrives. More works. Now here is the synergy between food 1 and food 2 that I want you to really understand. Zinc from the beef liver suppresses aromatase from the enzymatic side. Selenium from the egg yolk suppresses it from the hormonal side. Together, eaten within the same day, not necessarily the same meal, they create a double blockade against testosterone conversion. Your body produces more testosterone because of the liver. And more of that testosterone survives intact and reaches your penis because of the egg yolk. This is not two separate benefits stacked on top of each other. This is one amplified result where each food makes the other dramatically more effective. And there is one more layer to the egg yolk that most men completely overlook: choline. Egg yolks are the richest dietary source of choline available. And choline is essential for the production of acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that governs arousal signals between your brain and your genitals. When choline is deficient, and most men over 60 are chronically deficient in it, the nerve signal that travels from your brain to your penis during arousal is weaker, slower, and less reliable. The desire is there mentally, but the electrical impulse that translates that desire into a physical response is misfiring. Eating the whole egg yolk daily begins restoring that signal strength. Men describe it as their body becoming more responsive, more sensitive to arousal, more connected between what they feel mentally and what their body does physically. That reconnection is choline working exactly as it should. I had a patient named James, 71 years old, retired engineer, very analytical man. Came to me with printed spreadsheets of his testosterone blood panels going back 5 years. Declining every single year. His doctor had offered testosterone replacement therapy. James had refused. He wanted to fix this naturally or not at all. I put James on 4 whole eggs every morning, yolk included, alongside the liver twice per week. 6 weeks later, his free testosterone had risen 34% on his blood panel. His total testosterone up 28%. His estrogen had dropped measurably. And his wife, who came with him to that second appointment, looked at me quietly and said, "Whatever you told him to eat, please keep telling him." James just smiled. 2 to 4 whole eggs daily, soft-boiled or poached. Runny yolk, not hard-cooked. The yolk should be soft and golden. That is your testosterone precursor sitting on the plate. Do not throw it away. Now, liver and eggs working together is already a powerful combination. But there is a third food, and this one does not directly build testosterone. It does something arguably more important for your erection quality and your sexual performance. It determines whether the testosterone your body is now producing can actually reach your penis and produce the hard, full, sustained erection that you need. Without this third food, the first 2 are only doing half the job. The hormone is being made. The hormone is being protected. But without this, the blood cannot get through. Pomegranate. Specifically 8 ounces of pure pomegranate juice with no added sugar, every morning. And I need you to understand the mechanism here. Because once you understand what pomegranate is doing inside your blood vessels, you will never skip it again. An erection is not a testosterone event. This is the single most important thing I tell men in my clinic who are frustrated that their desire is present but their body is not responding. Testosterone creates the desire, the drive, the signal from your brain that says I want this. But the actual physical erection, the firmness, the fullness, the pressure and size of a full erection, that is entirely determined by blood flow. Specifically, by how quickly and how powerfully blood can rush into the two chambers of your penis and stay there under pressure. After 60, two things happen to your blood flow that work directly against you. First, nitric oxide production in your blood vessel walls declines significantly. Nitric oxide is the signaling molecule that tells the arteries feeding your penis to relax and expand, to open like a floodgate and allow blood to surge in with force. Without enough nitric oxide, those arteries stay partially constricted. The blood trickles instead of rushing. The erection is partial, or it does not arrive at all. Second, and this is the part most men never hear, oxidative stress increases in your blood vessels as you age. Free radicals are actively attacking and destroying nitric oxide faster than your body can produce it. So even when your body does manage to produce nitric oxide, it gets broken down almost immediately before it can signal your arteries to open. This is the exact reason so many men over 60 say, I feel the desire, I feel ready, I want this, but nothing happens below. The desire signal is there. The testosterone is doing its job. But the blood cannot get through the constricted arteries fast enough or with enough force to create a full erection. Pomegranate is the most powerful natural nitric oxide protector ever studied in clinical research on erectile function. It is extraordinarily rich in antioxidants called punicalagins, compounds so potent that pomegranate's antioxidant activity is 3 times higher than red wine and 2 times higher than green tea. And these antioxidants do not just neutralize free radicals generally. They specifically shield nitric oxide molecules from oxidative destruction in the bloodstream before they can reach the arteries of your penis. This means your body's own nitric oxide lasts longer, travels farther, and arrives at the arteries of your penis intact and functional. The floodgate opens wider. The blood rushes in with more force. The erection is fuller, firmer, and more sustained than it has been in years. And here is something that men find almost impossible to believe until they experience it themselves. When blood flow to the penis genuinely improves, when the chambers are filling completely rather than partially, the erection does not just feel harder, it feels larger, fuller, the way it used to feel decades ago, because the tissue is finally receiving the volume of blood it was designed to hold. This is not enlargement in a pharmaceutical sense. This is your body returning to its actual biological capacity. Men describe it as feeling whole again, present, powerful in a way that goes beyond the physical moment itself. Now I want you to see the complete picture of what all 3 foods are doing together, because this is the moment everything clicks. The beef liver floods your body with zinc and retinol, increasing testosterone production at the source and giving your Leydig cells the raw materials to build more of the hormone than they have been producing in years. The egg yolks provide the cholesterol precursor for testosterone synthesis, the choline that restores arousal signal strength, and the selenium that suppresses aromatase. Meaning more testosterone is built, the nerve signal between your brain and your penis fires properly, and more of that testosterone survives conversion to reach your bloodstream intact. And the pomegranate protects the nitric oxide that opens your penile arteries, meaning the testosterone-driven desire signal from your brain finally results in a full, blood-engorged, sustained erection rather than a partial response or nothing at all. Production, protection, delivery, arousal signal, full chamber expansion. This is a complete biological circuit. And every link in that circuit has been missing for most men over 60 without them ever knowing it. I want to tell you about one more patient, because this one stays with me. His name was David, 74 years old. Had been on testosterone replacement therapy for 3 years before he came to see me. Even on the injections, his erections were unreliable. Sometimes firm, sometimes barely there. No consistency. His testosterone was technically within range. The injections were handling that. But his erections were still failing him regularly, and he had no idea why. I looked at his diet. 0 liver, Egg whites only. His previous doctor had told him to avoid yolks because of a statin prescription. Almost no fruit. His blood vessels were starved of antioxidants. Nitric oxide was being produced and immediately destroyed. The testosterone signal was arriving at the artery wall. And the artery could not respond because the nitric oxide was gone before it could work. I added 2 things to what David was already doing. Whole eggs daily, yolk included. 8 ounces of pure pomegranate juice every morning. No other changes. For weeks later, David's wife called my clinic to book her own annual checkup. When she arrived, she pulled my receptionist aside and asked which doctor her husband had been seeing. The receptionist asked if there was a problem. She said, "No problem at all. I just wanted to say thank you. That is blood flow meeting testosterone. That is the circuit completing. That is what these 3 foods working together can do for a man who was told his best days were behind him. Now let me give you the exact protocol, because timing affects absorption and absorption affects results. Within 30 minutes of waking every morning, eat 2 to 4 whole soft-boiled or poached eggs alongside 8 ounces of fresh pomegranate juice with no added sugar. This combination starts your day with the cholesterol precursors your testes need for testosterone synthesis, the choline that activates your arousal nerve pathways, the selenium that blocks aromatase conversion, and maximum nitric oxide protection during the morning hours when your blood vessels are most responsive. Your testosterone naturally peaks between 6 and 8 a.m. Providing this nutritional support during that natural peak amplifies it. You are feeding the system at the exact moment it is primed to produce. On Monday and Thursday evenings, eat 4 ounces of beef liver, pan-seared medium, not overcooked. Eaten in the evening, the zinc and retinol absorb overnight during the same deep sleep window when your body conducts the majority of its testosterone synthesis. Twice per week, not daily, is the precise frequency where you get maximum testosterone support from the liver without any vitamin A accumulation concern. In the first 7 days, most men notice 2 things. Deeper sleep, because zinc directly improves sleep architecture, and stronger morning erections, because the pomegranate's nitric oxide protection is working from day 1, and morning erections are the first reliable sign that blood flow to your penis has genuinely improved. By week 2 to 3, the energy starts shifting. That heavy, unmotivated, flat feeling that comes from chronically low testosterone begins to lift. Desire returns with more urgency. The body starts initiating rather than just responding. You notice yourself thinking about intimacy differently, not with dread, not with that quiet anxiety about whether it will work, but with something closer to anticipation. By week 4 to 6, this is when my patients describe the change that matters most to them. Not just harder erections, though that is happening, but the confidence that comes with knowing your body will respond when you need it to. The anxiety that used to precede intimacy, that tightening in the chest, that silent prayer that it works this time, starts to dissolve, because your body has become reliable again. And a man whose body is reliable carries himself completely differently. His wife feels it. His partner sees it. He walks into a room differently. He does not avoid the moment anymore. He moves toward it. Before I close, there are 2 things that will neutralize everything I have just given you if you do not address them. And I see these patterns destroy progress in my clinic constantly. The first is seed oils. Canola oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, corn oil, used in almost every processed food and most restaurant cooking, contain extremely high concentrations of omega-6 fats that directly upregulate aromatase enzyme activity. Every gram of liver you eat to raise testosterone, every egg yolk you consume to protect it, seed oils are working against you in real time, accelerating the conversion of your testosterone into estrogen with every meal. Cook with butter. Cook with olive oil. Cook with coconut oil or beef tallow. If it was fried in a restaurant in seed oil, it is quietly raising your estrogen and reducing your free testosterone simultaneously. The second is sleep below 6 hours. Your pituitary gland releases the luteinizing hormone that signals your Leydig cells to produce testosterone during deep sleep, specifically during slow-wave sleep in the early part of the night. If you are sleeping fewer than 6 hours, or if your sleep is fragmented, that signal fires weakly or incompletely. No amount of zinc, retinol, cholesterol, or pomegranate antioxidants can compensate for a testosterone production signal that never fully fires. The 3 foods I have given you will support better sleep. The zinc in the liver and choline in the egg yolk both improve sleep architecture directly. But prioritize 7 to 8 hours in a dark room as the foundation. Everything else builds on. Men, if you are still here, that means something. It means part of you is refusing to accept that this is simply how it is now. Part of you remembers what it felt like to be strong, to be present, to move toward your partner instead of away from her. And part of you knows that the man you are has not gone anywhere. He is just not being fed correctly. 3 foods: beef liver, whole eggs, pomegranate. Together they build testosterone, protect it from being stolen by aromatase, restore the arousal signal between your brain and your body, and deliver everything through blood vessels that are finally open and responding the way they are supposed to. The firmness returns. The fullness returns. The size returns. The confidence that used to be automatic, that returns too. This is not complicated. This is not expensive. It does not require a prescription or a clinic visit or an awkward conversation with a doctor who gives you 10 minutes and a pamphlet. It requires a decision tonight. Not next week. Tonight. The next time you open your refrigerator, the next time you walk through the grocery store, you make a different choice. You put the right fuel in the engine. I have watched men walk into my clinic with their voices low and their shoulders bent. Men who had not initiated intimacy in months, because the fear of failing again had become heavier than the desire itself. And I have watched those same men come back 6 weeks later standing differently, talking differently, looking their partners in the eyes again. Not because I gave them something extraordinary, because I gave their bodies what their bodies had been begging for all along. You are not broken. You are not past it. You are not the man who has to lie there in silence anymore. Your strength is not behind you. It is sitting in your grocery store right now, waiting for you to pick it up. Type ready in the comments if you are starting this protocol tonight. I read every single comment. I want to know you are beginning. And in 3 weeks, come back and tell me what changed. Tell me what your body started doing again. Because your story might be exactly the comment that convinces another man, just like you, to stop waiting and start fighting for himself. If this video gave you something real, something you can act on tonight, please hit the like button right now. It costs you nothing and it helps this message reach the men who need it most. Subscribe to Vital Health Seniors and turn on the notification bell. Every week I bring you exactly this kind of specific, science-backed guidance built for men over 60 who are done accepting less than what their bodies are truly capable of. Your testosterone is not finished producing. Your blood vessels are not finished responding. Your erections are not finished returning. You are not done. And this is where you begin again.